The artwork for Anime Podcasters is provided by GoPro Keo. Please go follow him at GoPro Keo. Hi guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Anime Podcasters. Today we have our amazing host alongside myself, JaianMusic.
Sphinx number 2. I'm good. How are
you doing, man?
How are you, Sphinx 1?
Oh, Sphinx number 1 is doing very good. We obviously are discussing an anime that I actually discussed with Church, and I'm very excited. I really want to get into this topic. I'm just gonna say this at the top of the show, just because I do think it's important to cover. This anime that we are discussing is 17 and plus, so it's for older audiences. It may have topics that's not for everyone, though. So that's just your only little warning. So. That's just a little warning. We're podcasting about Zankyou no Terror, because this month on my channel is Zankyou no Terror month. We are with Hotshot, Sphinx number 1, Sphinx number 2. We are back. I didn't know Sphinx had a ginger in it, but now it does apparently.
Well, okay, fine. I'm Sphinx 7. They've kind of expanded after.
It's a recruitment.
It's a recruitment. I'm Sphinx 7. There's like 1,200 of us.
Sphinx number 1,200.
Be afraid.
Right,
we're like the terror version of KND.
Basically. So let's start with this. Hotshot and I made this bet, and long story short, he lost the bet, and I was like, I got to make him watch any anime ever, and so I chose Zankyou no Terror. So this is the kind of show that Hotshot watched because he lost the bet. Now I want to begin with this. Had you not lost that bet, would you have, now that you've finished the series, would you have actually did you actually enjoy it? Like, what were your initial thoughts on it?
I enjoyed aspects. I like watching through the entire thing. There were parts that I enjoyed, but it is not in my personal top 10 or really even top 20 of animes or shows in general, because it's another one of those shows that that's like Death Note, where you have to think a lot about what's going on, what's going to happen next, and analyze basically everything and every single possibility.
Absolutely, yes.
Shows like that I don't really care for all that much. I appreciate them and I respect the living hell out of them, don't get me wrong, because it takes so much work to do a show like that where you actually have to analyze everything and how you're on the edge of your seat on every single episode because you don't know what's going to happen. But my take on it was I did enjoy the story. I did enjoy the events that happened. I liked some characters more than others. And I love the Sphinx riddles. I do love that in the tie to Greek mythology. But it was just too tedious for me to get into personally, I guess.
That's a very fair criticism. It is a very tedious anime. It is one that is very thought-provoking, and there's steps for the steps. If you had to give it a rank out of 10, I'm curious, what would you give it?
I'm going to have to give it 2 ranks. I'm going to have to give it 1 as a reviewer and 1 as a personal.
Okay, review.
As a review, I'm going to have to give it an 8.
Okay.
So I am putting it way high up there because, again, of all the marks that I just stated. But as a personal, I'm going to have to give it a lower tier of a 4.
Oh, okay. So half of that. Okay, that's actually really interesting. I want to go here with you. So there was obviously aspects that you enjoyed, specifically the riddles. What I enjoy about the riddles, and then I want to get your thoughts on this, is the way basically Zankyou no Terror follows the story of Sphinx, and they do they have this message they want to be known. They were these test subjects for the Athena plan, and obviously this is the harsh truth of their past, and they managed to escape and be one of the only 3 survivors. Obviously 5 will get to her eventually, and they do these elaborate bombings and everything, and the way they set these up is with riddles. They do these things where there's a riddle for the location of a bombing, and then the police goes crazy trying to figure it out. What did you enjoy specifically about the riddles for these terrorist attacks that they did?
The riddle. Okay, so even though I just said that anime that you have to think out, for a lot, I don't enjoy, but I enjoy riddles a lot. So it's kind of a hypocritic thing to go on there. But with the riddles, it's just kind of satisfying to see, okay, I'm going to go for a simpler explanation here. Think of the Riddler from the Batman. Like a lot of his riddles, he leaves clues, he leaves tricks to tell what Batman what he's going to do next, and then Batman responds appropriately, right?
Right.
It's kind of like that. Like I like seeing the police chief, or not the chief, sorry. I like seeing the cops actually like try to fondle over like what could this mean? What could this mean? What could this mean? And then there's one guy that's like, God, you guys are all stupid. This is what it is.
That's basically Shibazaki. Shibazaki's the one who's really able to figure out these riddles. He's kind of the L.
He is actually my favorite character.
Oh, really? Okay, let's go there. Shibazaki is your favorite character. I did not expect that. I thought for sure 100% 12 would have been your favorite character because of 12's sense of humor.
12.
But you enjoy
12 is actually my third favorite.
Okay. So this is interesting to me in the sense that like you found it tedious and the anime tedious and a lot of thoughts and everything. I would say most of those thoughts emerged because of Shibazaki. So why is he your favorite character?
Because he always just gets done what needs to get done. Plus, I always have a soft spot for detectives, especially detectives who kind of have to work off the lam, like as vigilantes later on. Because I've watched a lot of detective stuff and obviously comic books where the detective or a major head in the police corps like gets laid off or suspended because they support the hero, but they still do what's right because it's right. So I kind of saw part of that I kind of saw part of that twist coming where Shibazaki gets laid off, but he's also a detective. He's supposedly the good guy, and every single time I always follow the good guy, no matter where it comes from, whether it's the detective or a vigilante doing the right thing or what have you. But when it comes to terms of his investigating Sphinx and him being the only one who actually knows what's going on, I mean, I feel like that's kind of a cop-out in terms of the writing because, I mean, yeah, you need that intellectual character, but that doesn't mean that you have to make him literally the only one who understands everything.
No, that's fair, but at the same time, Zankyou no Terror being of this short anime, we really only have the 5 main characters being 9, 12, 5, Lisa, and Shibazaki. But going directly to Shibazaki, what I really enjoyed the most about him is his sense of justice. Like, he knows right from wrong so well. Like, when Kurahashi pulls off everyone and, like, United States is like, oh, we'll take care of this. And then there's a big bomb explosion. Like, Shibazaki's like, you screwed this up. Like, this should not have happened. And then Kurahashi's like, well, I was reassured that everything would have been okay. He has these moments throughout the anime where he shows that, like, he will go against the boss and he'll do what's right. And he's the ultimate reason why Sphinx's truth comes out, because when 9 at the very end says, obviously, don't remember us, remember that we lived. He makes sure that makes sure that everything comes out in court. So I really enjoyed his sense of justice. Like that was like that combined with obviously his quick mindfulness and able to like put these things out. I really enjoyed that from him.
And he also, like, he's one of those characters who doesn't care what happens to him as long as, like, what's right comes to light. Because you remember when he had to, I don't remember the guy's name off the top of my head because I'm horrible with Japanese names, but you remember when he had to interview or meet with, it was later on in the series, it was like that really old guy.
He was like part of the Athena plan. I know who you're talking
about. Yeah, where he had to meet with him, but his detective partner said, "Wait for me," and Shibazaki sent him to get like a very specific smoke that he tried like 8 spots for, and Shibazaki just went on without him because he knew, 1, his partner would be at greater risk because of it, and 2, well, as he said, he was taking too long. But that's not the only time that happened, because when they were talking to the other old guy, when they both went in, he said, if you enjoy being able to walk home safely at night, I suggest you leave now. With no hesitation, Shibazaki told the other guy to leave.
Right. I see what you're saying. Actually, I want to say something I dislike about Shibazaki. Were you done with your point?
Yeah, I was done with that point anyway.
Okay.
I mean, I'm probably going to agree with you on the point that you say that you don't like him, but we'll see where it goes.
Okay, well, I was gonna mention I found him to be very quick tempered, and in the live stream where they figure out the riddle, and then he's there and basically challenges Spinks. He's like, "Is that all you can do?" And he's like, "Yeah, I will put you down, and I'll bring you to justice." Da da da. Basically, like pokes the stick at the very heart, and that's like the last thing you want to do with terrorists. I found that judgment call to be really bad. What was your take on that whole aspect of Shibazaki?
It was a bad call. Like, obviously, that could have been handled better. But at the same time, poking an opponent, regardless of it being a terrorist or, like, even someone in a boxing ring or something like that, until they make a mistake that you can exploit, that's also a really, really high thing that you got to consider here. Because Shibazaki's not stupid. He's not gonna, shout out something that he doesn't mean or without a reason. Like, yeah, he is quick to temper and everything else, but he also thinks about exactly what he's doing when he's doing it.
No, 100%. I would have to agree with that. Let's jump to the next character here. Or was there anything else you wanted to mention about Shibazaki?
No, I got nothing left on him.
Okay, so I really want to talk about 9 and 12. These two are the reason why I love this anime so much. And I love the dynamic between those two, and I love how they how can I put this? They obviously they're terrorists, and they do all these bombings and everything, and that is something that's absolutely horrible. But they do it in a way where
no one dies.
No one dies.
They don't
basically.
kill. They don't. Their entire time being a terrorist, all of their bombs that they set up, no one dies in any of them. And bombs that have been set up around people, they go out of their way to make sure that they're either disarmed or that the place is evacuated before the bomb explodes.
I mean, think back of 9, who throws that like smoke thing in the subway system to deactivate the bomb, and then he notices there's a lady listening to music when everyone had evacuated, and he like grabs her, and like basically the bomb blows up in his back, and like he almost dies because he wanted to protect her. Like, these are not the kind of terrorists that like that you hear about or see every day. They have a specific mission, and what I loved about their mission is that they targeted specific locations. And these locations had to do with members, people who were invested in the Athena plan. So it's this very elaborate scheme to be like, this is the Athena plan. This is why we're doing what we're doing. And that is something that I really thought was well put. Starting with 9 and 12, let's see. Which one was your favorite between the
12, two? By far.
Why is that?
Well, I mean, I like 9 as a character, but at the same time, that analytical, like, everything must go perfectly. I mean, don't get me wrong. The field of work that they're doing, yeah, everything has to go perfectly, or otherwise you or thousands of others will be killed. So I completely understand why he says everything must go according to plan. But 12, even though it's in a serious situation, he still has fun with it. Like, he tries to, for lack of a better term here, he tries to bring humanity into it. Because, I mean, isn't that kind of the goal the entire time, where they want to have their humanity and make the point to known that what happened to them and the other 22 odd kids?
I understand that. I feel like I perceived it a bit differently. I felt like it's not humanity he brings in. I feel he brings in, well, maybe he brings humanity, but through his lightheartedness. I felt more like through his humor and his jokes and his allure.
Yeah, because he shows,
obviously outside allure.
Because he shows emotion. Like, I mean, especially to Lisa.
Right. 12 and Lisa obviously have this quasi-romantic scene in the Ferris wheel, and we can see that like 12 has feelings for her, and that Lisa, has feelings for 12, obviously holding hands when the last bomb explodes in the sky and everything. They do complete each other in that sense. But I what I really enjoyed about 12 is, how can I put this? Okay, what I really liked about him, and then what I disliked about him. I liked the fact that he didn't take himself very seriously, like 9, and he was a good counterpart to 9. That was really fun for me. Like one of my favorite scene with 12 is when Lisa is messing up with all of the with all these cell phones, and then 9's like, we could have this building, we could all be dead right now, and then 12 goes boom, right, and Lisa just faints. She's like, what's going on? What is this? Like, I love those little moments.
It's like, they're bombs, get it? We could die.
like I feel like that's the kind of joke you would make. Like I don't know. I feel like there was a similar sense of humor.
But you
between
can't
and
deny that
12.
he does have a serious mode too, because like
Yes.
some of the scenes that he has, especially with Lisa, like when he's showing her the trick with the coffee or the soda, and he laughs in her face about it and runs off, or in the scene with the library. But then he also has the scenes where he's talking to Nine about like actually putting Lisa in danger and wanting to stop it. Or when Lisa gets
Right,
captured.
at the first episode.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
when Lisa gets captured and he immediately goes after her without a second thought, even though 12 or 9 is constantly saying no. No.
No,
Bad
I
number
know. And
12.
what I hated about 12, what I actually really disliked about 12 is that he turns his back on 9. 5 is like, you're about to blow up and die if you don't give me the location of the plutonium bomb, and he's like, it's in the locker at the school, and 9's at the school, and then he realizes like 12 sold him out for Lisa. And 9's like absolutely pissed about that. He's like, it's like ridiculous. They do reconnect obviously afterwards when 12 is on the motorcycle and he rescues 9, and that whole debacle happens in episode 10. But the fact that he turned his back on 9, like literally his childhood number 1 from day 1, for a girl, that yes was a part of the group and became a member of Spinks, it still threw me off. I did not enjoy that aspect of 12.
Well, I mean, a show like that where there's two long-haired childhood friends and then a girl comes in and one of the guys falls in love with the girl, there's going to be that kind of scene where he's going to have to choose the girl and then going to have to reconcile with the other guy. I haven't seen a show yet who has just done like, okay, kill the girl. Like, I haven't seen a single scene or show, be it anime, comic, whatever, that does that scenario in that way.
No, I haven't either. Now that you mention it.
But at the same time, with Terran Resonance, I feel like that would have been the perfect way to do it, because the entire time I was going through it, the entire time I was watching, I kept feeling worse and worse and worse for Lisa, because she was bullied like hell at the school, and then she gets wrapped into this terrorist organization when she sees them, and then is asked either if she'll die or become an accomplice. And then one of the members doesn't like her, so she's just still getting shat on all over. And then it just keeps building and building and building. The only kind of peace that you see is with her and 12. So honestly, it kind of would have finished her off if 12 just either didn't do anything or gave 5 false information or something.
I feel like when you mentioned the fact that you felt bad for Lisa more and more as the series went on, is a testament to how well her character was made. Her character is lame Lisa, and she has all these things going against her. Obviously, the bullying, the strained relationship with her mother, like all of these things, and joining Spinks, and not being welcomed by 12, but being denied by 9. All of these things go against her, and I did feel bad for her as well. But that's the way she was set up. Like I felt like this is the character this is what you're gonna get from her.
No, I know, and that,
I mean,
and I can completely understand and agree with that, honestly.
And the perfect description of that would be when they were in the airport, and then 12 was like, "Are you ready to introduce Spinks number 3?" And 9 says, "Oh, whatever, do as you wish." And then she does it. She creates the distraction, but then she gets caught.
Yeah.
Like there is no break for her. She doesn't get her big break. Like the only big thing that I don't know, not even big thing, but the only.
Well, I will say this for that plan though. She got caught because A, she was hesitant about it, as you would in your act of terrorism, and 2, unlike 12 and 5, or 12 and 5, well, actually, yeah, 12, 5, and 9, who have been doing this kind of thing since childhood, this was literally her first. I don't really think that even if she knew what she was doing, I don't really think that she'd get away unless, like, 12 was constantly watching over her.
Fair point. When you are comparing 5, 12, and 9 to a regular person like Lisa, I want to bring up this point, and I want to get your opinion on this. Obviously, these individuals, those 3 people, 5, 12, and 9, are very disconnected from reality because of their upbringing in the settlement.
Because of the drug and everything else, yeah.
Yeah, the drug and everything, which I want to get into a bit more after. One scene that made me just realize how strong this disconnect was when 12 and 9 are at the pool in the first episode and they see Lisa being bullied, and 12 says, "Oh, so this is what you call bullying." Like, this is like it shows how disconnected he is. Like, no one just says it like that, you know?
Yeah, no.
It's weird. What did you think about that disconnect and how they integrate themselves with
I
people?
honestly felt
they basically mask themselves into school.
I honestly felt like it worked just fine. I mean, disguising yourself into school or something like that, no. Just no. But when it comes to like 12's line about bullying or like just jumping into the pool with all of his clothes on and everything, that I feel like works perfectly fine. But I also kind of feel like there was an opportunity missed where like so 9 and 12 are showing Lisa everything that they know on terrorism and the bombs and stuff like that and what exactly they're doing, but they don't ask anything about like what the real world is like how anything operates in there. Because I get that they know what they need to know, but you could connect with the world more and make your message that much stronger if you know how to communicate to it.
That's totally a fair point. I guess maybe we could talk about a bit about the drug and how they were experimented on.
That one I'm actually kind of estranged to, because like I saw the process and like the flashbacks that the three of them had, but at the same time I'm just like, I don't get it.
Well, basically, this was a pharmaceutical drug for the human brain, from what I understand. Thus, the brain trauma that 9 and we see 9 and 5 suffer from. You know, the flashbacks and everything. They were experimented on, and it was meant for children under the age of 5. They were obviously very young when this happened to them, and it resulted in an ultimate failure. Like, only 3 of them survived, so they all died. So the Athena plan was this big failure, and it was a drug conceived to create superhumans. You know, that's why 12 is so adept with I don't know, specifically bombs,
super intelligent beings more often than meta.
They were test subjects. Yeah, exactly. And that's why 9 is an amazing hacker and has all these tech skills, and he has this ability to visualize things so perfectly, like in the chessboard in the
airport. Which that visualization that he came up with for the chessboard was probably my favorite visualization that he's had.
I mean, I can only remember that one that he had, and the other one would be in the first episode with Lisa. He's like, "Okay, go. What floor are you on?" He's like, "Okay, go down this way. Go down here. Put the bomb down."
So
here.
He has photography or photo memory.
I mean, he has some sort of visualization, photographic memory power. I don't know what to call it exactly, but obviously,
then if that and his hacking skills make 9 different, then what exactly makes 12 different?
I think it's his adeptness with bombs, specifically when he was in the Ferris wheel with Lisa, and he's starting she has all these specifically very precise bombs attached to her.
Oh, like the diffusing. When he was diffusing.
And he's able to diffuse them very quickly, rapidly. Obviously, another example would be when he was in the first episode, the very first scene. We just see him driving casually this truck, and he has a grenade that he's tossing around, yeah, unclips it, throws it. He's very used to that, and I feel like he's the one that designs the bombs a bit more. I think that those ones specifically.
But then what about 5?
5 was. I think she was. It was her hacking skills as well, because when it was in episodes 4 or 5, she was able to hack into the subway system via backdoor and completely outmaneuver 9's hacking skills.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And there was also the fact that 9 and 5 both have the recurring headaches. You know, we obviously see 5 go to the hospital and 9 has a lot of those flashbacks, but 12 never had a single headache.
Well, he fainted. When later on in the episode, he fainted after helping 9. When he saw Lisa,
I feel like that was just physical exhaustion.
Yeah, when he saw Lisa, he just collapsed. And honestly, okay, so from 9 and 5, obviously that was from the medication with the headaches, because that's why when 5 was in the hospital, they've never seen a case like it, because she was one of the only 3 to survive. And 9, we can kind of assume that he had the same thing. But 12, when he fainted, it was just Lisa holding him and praying that he came back. He comes back, but then never experiences any kind of trauma like that again. So
No, but
you're
I
right.
don't. I don't
So
feel
you're
like he.
right that it could be physical exhaustion, like just from that ride, because we saw how much the crash messed him up. So
I don't know. It was definitely physical exhaustion. And another point to 12. Now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like the enhancements that he received as well in the Athena plan. This is just a theory. I think his nose, his smell was very became very good because in the first episode he's able to smell from very far away the chlorine from the pool. There was another episode where Lisa was cooking something and then he smelled like burnt like from very far out the door. So he has like I think he has this sense of smell
oh
as
my
well.
god,
That's
they test tubed him into Kiba.
basically they made the Athena Akimichi plan.
That's I want to be
Inuzuka,
12
what am I
now.
saying?
Though, okay, I know this might be jumping ahead of what you haven't planned, but
No, go ahead.
there is one death in actually, yeah, you know what? Yeah. There was one death in Terran Wrestlings that I hated to see, and that was 12.
Oh my god, the heartbreak.
Just okay, so I'm just going to get into all of them here, so just a heads up. When 5
go ahead.
5 finally had 9 cornered and was about to shoot him, and instead, since she was running out of time because of the drug, kissed him, wished him luck, and then shot herself with the car and exploded herself with the gas. Okay, I liked 5, but at the same time, she was a villain. She was probably going to die. And, I mean, these guys were terrorists with cops chasing them down for better or for worse. So they're probably going to die at the end, is what I was thinking throughout the entire thing. But when I saw the disease of the medicine start going in, I thought that's what would kill them. And when I heard the sniper rifle, I thought that it would have hit. Damn it, blanking. I thought that it would have hit 12 because he was the one with the detonator. Or 5. 9. Damn it. I thought they would have shot 9 because he was holding the detonator to the bomb. But when I saw 12 with the bloodstain on his shirt and just falling forward, I'm like, oh no.
I know, and the musical scoring in that scene is absolutely perfect. It's just like this Icelandic choir, nice little like acoustic instrumental, and then this just the snare hit with the guitar da 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 da, and like when 9 displays that emotion of him like crying. I mean, it was the first and only time we really see him express any sort of emotion. And it was a heartbreak. Like, it's definitely the saddest anime death for me was 12. I mean, 12. And the thing is, 12 never had any headaches, so he could have probably lived longer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he said, Lisa, you saved me. So maybe, like, if you just have that, like, one person who can watch over you, you're fine. So just having that all taken away from him in the blink of an eye, especially after the day that they've had in the at the institution when they were at the gravesite, that was just like, you, America. It's just because if you remember, it was the Americans that sniped him.
No, the Americans totally sniped him. I know, man. It was it was a heartbreak. I mean, do you want to hear a really bad joke about Zankyou no Terror? Why is there only 11 episodes?
Because 12 died.
Because 12 couldn't make it. Yeah. I know, right? I'm sorry.
I've heard like you. I don't like you.
I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. But in all seriousness, 12's death was one of the hardest pills to swallow. It was just really,
I mean, it hurt. Don't get me wrong. Seeing 12's death did hurt, but at the same time, I'm just like it wasn't one of those deaths that I had to pause the screen and walk away from or anything like that. Because when I have a character that I absolutely love, like let's take an example here real quick. Like Pervy Sage from Naruto. Like if a character like that who meant that much to me had died, yeah, I'm going to pause, I'm going to leave, and then I'm going to take 3 years off and then come back and finish the show. But with 12's death, I'm just like, damn it, because I kind of saw it coming, I just didn't see coming in that way. Like, I didn't see that he would be shot.
Well, it was either that or they get arrested.
Yeah, but arrested they're still alive, and there's a chance that they would break out and still be on the lam. I mean, nothing would have changed. They just wouldn't be blowing anything else up. But the thing is, they would have been totally
Fair enough.
But the thing is, they would have been totally fine with being arrested. They weren't giving Shibazaki any kind of fight. They were just saying, "Okay, just let the girl go, and we'll come quietly. We just wanted the world to know." And then America shows up and says, "Nope, die." Pfft.
It was a very tough pill to swallow, indeed. I really like maybe moving back. I felt like if I was 9, I would have pulled the trigger. I mean, literally, one of the sayings of this anime is "pull the trigger on this world." Where I like just like screw you guys, you kill my best friend. I like screw it, and he would have just blown up everything. But he made the right decision in the sense of trusting Shibazaki, and because everything comes out in the end. Since we're at the end, might as well talk about this scene. The very last scene of the anime where Lisa goes to visit the grave of the Athena plan victims and everything, and then she bumps into Shibazaki, and then she explained what Vaughn means, which I'll get to that in a moment with you. How did you feel about that final scene? Was it a good way to conclude everything, or did it?
Yeah, because it was our two characters that had the two different perspectives on our leads on 5 and on 9, or damn it, on 9
so
and on 12.
I did not think of that.
Because we have Lisa, who knows them as the Sphinx Cell, but who knows them as people, like who's actually seen them work, seen how they operate, and how they work off each other and what they mean to each other. And then we have Shibazaki, who only knew them as Sphinx, who only knew them as the terrorist organization. And yet he was still keeping an eye on everything. Like, he even goes as far as to defend Sphinx from the chief of police when he said that bomb wasn't theirs, and none of their bombs have ever killed anyone. Like, they target those places specifically so that no one dies.
No, right. So I know that.
Just going on those two perspectives, where you have someone who knows the terrorist cell really well and someone who knows the people really well, just coming together and talking, is kind of a good way to close out. Like, okay, this is who these guys were.
No, it is a very good way to close it out. But I did feel that the way it ended was, I don't know, like it left a tear in my eye, like an actual tear in my eye when I just realized it was over. But it's such a well constructed story with ups and downs and everything. I just Shibazaki talking to Lisa, and Lisa explaining what Vaughn means, the word that they spray painted and they used a lot, like in that the one quote unquote bombing where it was not a bombing, it was a leak of the police information, and it said Vaughn or when they spray painted Vaughn and everything. Well, Vaughn means hope, and it's an Icelandic word, and the Icelandic word is a representative of music from a cold land, which is what 9 listen to all the time. What was your thoughts on the Icelandic reference on throughout the anime? Obviously, with Vaughn, the actual musical place, the graffiti of Vaughn. We see 9 sporting a wristband with the Icelandic colors, blue, white, and red. What was your thoughts on Vaughn and the Icelandic theme and the hope, and it just being a part of the imagery of the anime?
I'll be honest, I'm not even cultured enough to answer that question.
Okay.
But if I had to just kind of give a shoot the shit kind of answer here, just it kind of shows me that 9 never gave up hope that people would eventually know the truth at some point. And even going as far as to wear the Iceland flag colors on him, like the colors of what I feel like symbolize hope, that he just constantly wears those colors, listens to that music, and just kind of takes that meaning to heart. I feel like that means so much more than just like, I mean, it's kind of hard to explain now that I actually think about it.
But I do think you hit the nail on the head when you said that 9 never gave up hope, because he has the secret. He wants everyone to know about it, and humans have emotions, and test subjects like those people have emotions, and his emotion is that he I don't know, maybe not emotion is the best word, but he wants people to know about this, and he expresses this through his terrorist attacks, and he also expresses it through Vaughn, through this word that means hope. He has hope that people find out the truth, and he never gives up with it. So being hopeful, and I think that was a great, just a great, like, I don't even know, like a great thread throughout the anime. I really love that touch. That touch really fit in well.
Again, it's one of those animes that you have to think like the themes and analyze and everything else. So a lot of it seems lost on me. I mean, I get what you're saying now that I hear it out loud, but at the same time, like if you're just watching the anime and have to keep an eye on this for yourself and you're not into that kind of show, it's kind of, you have to hear it from a third party.
Oh no, definitely. I that's 100% a fair criticism. I want to maybe talk about the actual attacks that they did. There was obviously the Roppongi station, the subway system. What was your favorite action-packed moment of the anime? If you have to choose one.
If I'm being completely honest, my favorite action pack would probably be when 5 is being escorted with the police after he turned himself in, and then 5 is chasing after him, and then 9 is trying to save him, or 12 is trying to save him.
Okay, like towards the end of the anime.
Yeah.
And why was that your favorite?
Because A, we have all 3 of the Institute survivors actually at the same site. And 2, we actually have someone who actually poses a real threat. Like, 5 could actually kill 9 if she so desired, as we saw.
Right.
And even the fact that, like, I don't entirely get 5's backstory, if I'm being completely honest. But just seeing the fact that the agency that she was working with the Americans, who she was raised by, and then turn on them as soon as they say that someone else is going to pick up 5, or someone else is going to pick up 9. Just, I mean, that kind of turn, and then her going after 9 herself, only to kill herself, kind of throws in a moment to me. And I really like that kind of thing, because it's something that you don't entirely see coming. That actually was a twist a little bit.
Well, if I told you this, let me know if you knew this part of the anime. 5 was the character in the flashback that was left behind by 9 and 12. And she holds this grudge against 9 and 12 because 9 and 12 managed to escape, but 9 tried to escape with 5, but always failed at that. Did you know that was a thing?
Yeah, I knew that was her.
Okay, good. Because I felt like she felt betrayed by 9, but I don't know if she realized that 9 really wanted her, and it just didn't work out. It's one of those things where you try to help your friend, but it just doesn't work out at all. And then when she's in that moment where she has a gun and she could either kill 9 or do what she did, she feels like she betrayed 9. She was playing on she was her enemy, but they're cut from the same cloth. They should be working together. They're from the same clan, and that's why she did what she did, in my opinion, because she felt so bad. She realizes in that moment the horrible choice that she made, which is honestly weird because it's like joining the bad guys.
I feel like when she was working with the Americans, she wanted to keep the Athena plan under wraps, but then at the same time, when she finally had beaten 9, like how 9 had always beaten her in chess and everything else, but just given this one thing that 5 had finally bested 9 and it could go whatever way that 5 wanted, she wanted him to succeed. She wanted him to expose the secret of the Athena plan so it didn't happen to anyone else. Plus, she was already 1 foot in the grave with already being in the hospital because of the medication. So, that being said, I mean, I think I get what you're saying when you say that she should have been working with him at the same time, but I don't really think there was that much of a grudge. There was just I need to beat him once kind of thing.
I think there like rivalry was definitely a part of it, because in that whole subway system when it blows up and everything, and then she purposely cuts out all service to like screw with 9 and 12 because she knows that's how they're gonna deactivate the bomb. She just knows because she's cut from the same cloth as them once again. And so she becomes like the opponent for them for a couple of episodes. And Nine again outsmarts her at the airport with the camera feeds, and he's able to rewind them or fast forward them. I forget, like I don't know exactly, to like outsmart her, and then he shows up before she expected.
He sees this opportunity and he swaps out the footage of like him running around, so it's basically playing on a loop, and then he sneaks around and gets her.
Yeah, exactly. And that was well thought out by Nine once again. I guess if I had to choose my favorite action-packed moment, for me, it's definitely the episode 4 when it was like solve the riddle. So Shibazaki was there and typing into the computer, what's the answer, and the answer turns out to be Shibazaki, which is like the best troll ever in my opinion. And then everybody in the police task force is like trying to find the location of the bombs, and then the bombs turned out to be fake, and because they cheated and they were looking for bombs instead of solving it. Now it's the first time Spinks makes a request in that situation where they're like, solve it, not find the bombs. It's really like solve our riddle here, and then they solve he solves the riddle, but they cheat, so it ends up leaking all of the information of all the data they received of their investigation. So the public finds out that they don't know much, so they find out how little the police knows, which was a great turn of events. And like in my opinion, when I watched it, I really thought it was gonna be like this big explosion. I was like, oh my god, like this is it, they're gonna screw everyone over. But then it turns out to be like a data leak of all the information. Did that catch you by surprise? Because for me, it really did.
It did, and at the same time, I was also kind of relieved because I'm like, damn, because we didn't know enough about 9 and 12 at this point. To know that they wouldn't kill anybody.
No, exactly. That's a very fair point. And then later on in that same episode, we see Lisa and 12, obviously, which I want to know what you thought about this. 12 puts a tracker on Lisa to know where she is, because she obviously knows that they're the one who blew up the first building, and he tracks her and everything just to make sure there's no like any leak of information. She doesn't go to the police or anything. What were your thoughts on that? Why not just like end it from the beginning? I don't know. Like, to me, it was such a big risk.
Yeah, but at the same time, you're kind of bringing up the same point that 9 did. Having Lisa around at all actually is a risk. But at the same time, 12 wanted to have that human connection, wanted to have that connection with someone else other than just him. Like, just him and 9. He wanted to have that connection with an actual person.
Do you feel that makes 12 more of an emotional being than 9? No, I would have to. I would have to agree with that as well. But I really feel like 12 and Lisa's relationship really forms together in that moment where they're when he motorcycles away with her and everything, and then she asks him like, "Are you gonna like blow the entire world up? Is that your mission? Like, do you want to blow it up?" And then 12's response is like this, to cry out in laughter and be like, "That's ridiculous. That's not what we're gonna do. We're not just like grunts. We're more sophisticated than that." But I would totally understand Lisa having that thought, like, so you're basically like, you want to blow everything up. That's your plan.
Well, I mean,
right?
that's just like stereotypical. That's just stereotyping terrorists as a whole. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying they're good people, but I mean, that's just like saying that, okay, you're a terrorist, so you all share this one goal.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, very, very well put right there. So maybe was there any other specific moments or instances in the anime that you want to talk about, or anything that we brought up this far?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I do have a favorite scene with 9.
Oh, go ahead, hit me.
My favorite scene with 9 is when he's just walking around, and this is after 12 betrays him for Lisa. So when 9 just walks right into the police station and talks to the clerk. "Hello, I'd like to turn myself in." "Huh? I'm sorry, who are you?" "I'm Sphinx number 1. And then there's just a scream, and I'm just like, okay, ballsy? And I can't help but laugh a little bit at it, just because it's like, oh, no big deal. I'm just the first Sphinx, the guy that you guys have been after like this entire time.
I know, right? But like, do you feel like this was all a pre-planned thing at that point when he turns himself in, or do you think he was just like so sick of like this was right after 12 betrays him? Do you think he was just like, oh,
No, it was
screw
no.
it?
I feel like it was planned. Like I feel like even if that plan went according the way that it should have, I still feel like he and 12 would have turned themselves in because that's the only way they can guarantee themselves either to talk with Shibazaki or to talk with the chief of police.
Right, because he was like, I will only talk to Shibazaki. I won't talk to anyone else. I remember that.
Right, and then they make a demand about like where the actual bomb is or like what they're actually doing. Like it wasn't to just like I'm done. If it was an I'm done moment, they wouldn't have had to talk. They would have just had to so I'm done. I'm toast. I'll tell you whatever you want to know and then just cooperate with the police. If it was a plan, then he would have been making the commands and then he told the chief of police about the A bomb.
No, he did tell them about the other bombs and everything. Do you think what do you think would have happened had the press conference actually happened?
That one's kind of tricky, in all honest truth.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like what would he have said at the press conference? Like would he have admitted the location of the bomb to every single person, or because there was also that big atomic bomb that was like pre-planned to be launched if the press conference were to not happen. So that's a really tough one for me. I like dissecting it like that. I feel like the press conference was just to, I don't know. I really don't know actually. This was kind of a dead end for me.
I actually have no idea. Like I would like to think that Nine would actually be true to his word and talk to the others, like actually come clean about everything. Because he knew that Shibazaki would be at the press conference, so he knew he could tell somebody. But at the same time, it's really something that you either have to think about or make your own interpretation on. Because the press conference leaves such a huge thing up in the air, especially with 9 being the only one there. Then you gotta think about, like, what would 12 do? Would 12 really just be flying solo over here?
Right. I feel like had he done that press conference though, it would have been an even bigger betrayal than what 12 had done to him at that point. And I feel like he's not a vindictive person, but he's like a very cerebral person. So there's a method to the madness all the way through.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, all good, all good. Okay, so I kind of wanted to touch upon that. Was there anything else real quick to touch upon? I honestly like thinking about it like that. I'm pretty sure I covered everything I wanted to mention. Any do you want to get into final thoughts, or is there anything else you want to talk about?
Let's go ahead and get into final thoughts over here.
All right, you go ahead. Your final thoughts on the anime as a whole. This anime that you had to lose a bet to watch. What were your final thoughts on Zankyou no Taira?
Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing that I did at the beginning here. I'm going to give you my thoughts as a reviewer, and I'm going to give you my thoughts as a me. So
look at you breaking
me.
it all down, being all analytical.
So as a reviewer, Terran Resonance is a great show. The score is beautiful. The story is beautiful, which actually makes you think in order to find out what's going to happen to the characters. You feel for these characters. You want them to succeed, even though they're doing these horrible acts. You feel bad for the characters that actually go through tragedies, such as Shibazaki and Lisa. And I really need not say anything more on those two. But with everything going wrong, you want the truth to come out. You want them to know about the Athena plan. And then when it finally does, but it costs them everything, it's satisfying, but at the same time leaves you heartbroken because these characters that you've watched sacrifice so much in order to get their message across and their past in general, actually. Just to get that across, they sacrifice everything. It makes you hurt, but it also makes you happy when you realize that what they wanted to do did happen. So it is a beautiful show, and I completely respect and understand anybody who loves it. But as someone like me who's more into anime and shows in general, who are more into quick action and honestly kind of lewd humor, if I'm being completely honest, fourth break humor, actiony, that kind of thing, it is not for you. It is definitely for the intellectual viewer. And I mean, that's why I have to put it lower on my tier for personal, but at the same time, I do highly respect it.
No, absolutely. You're absolutely correct when you say that, and I understand that. Actually, before I get into my final thoughts, I had two more things I want to bring up and I want to ask you about because I actually would love to hear your thoughts on this, and then I'll get my final thoughts. Just because I really felt like this anime did something that I didn't see any other anime do, or like not as well as it. But like the motives are so unspecified at the beginning; it's so mysterious, and then as you go on, you get bits and pieces of information, and at the very end, the finale, you fully understand the whole thing. How did that progression work for you? Like how it went from like what is this? I don't understand. Like what is this about? And then you get more information. Did that work well? Was it
Well, I mean,
male?
with like I'm not gonna pretend like I only like shows that every single thing you need to learn is spelled out for you right from the get go. I don't want to be that kind of guy that says that's the only thing I like. When it comes to like, okay, how did we get to this point? I kind of prefer it in the way of like flashbacks that show what led up to it instead of just okay, this is where we're here now, and then we explain what happened later on. I'm just the kind of guy who just prefers flashbacks, so it didn't work all that great with me, but I can respect it that it worked that way because it did still work in its own right.
Totally, totally. For me, this progression was absolutely great because it really allows the placement of flashbacks and freakouts, and not giving away the plot from the very beginning is great to me because it allows this buildup of mystery, and you don't know what's gonna happen next, and you wonder why these characters like they're doing terrorist attacks. Why are you doing a terrorist attack? What is it about your past? What is it about what you've learned? What is it about what you want to tell us? I don't understand. I need to know more. And it really, like, for me, it gave me a reason to binge it. Like, I binged this because it was so good. And now that I think about it, looking back, I wish I had not binged this anime because it's so short and so good that I want, this greatness to last all the way through. But to me, the connective tissue between each episode and the way that we find out more and more and more, and it grows and grows and grows until the final explosion. It was a great setup for me. The last thing I want to bring up before my final thoughts is really I want to highlight the music in this anime.
Well, I mean that goes without saying, being a music channel and all.
No, I know, right? But Yoko Kanno absolutely kills it. The original soundtracks in this anime are my favorite ever. It's just so well put together. The songs, the piano based songs, are so emotional and carry so much weight. I'm not gonna get into the whole mixing of it and everything. Just more from a generic perspective. And then we have super fast moving songs, and then we have songs like Crystallized that hide more of a mysterious vibe to them. And then we have songs at the end of episode 4 when 12 dies, when like NC-17 was the song where they do the bike scene and everything, and then the whole reveal of the data leak. Like the way this music score is put together really ties in emotionally in the anime, and it's just great. It's so powerful. Like, just did you like the music? Like, were you a fan of it? Did you really loved it, or it was just any other anime, or did it like stand out to you when you listened to it?
It was honestly just the score that happened with the anime. I feel like it fit the tone. That was kind of all I listened for, if I'm being completely honest.
I would have to agree with that. It definitely fit the tone. And once again, Devon, my favorite anime soundtrack ever. Okay, so final thoughts for me. This is my favorite anime, and I just want to take a moment and like really thank Hotshot and Kyo. Like, you guys, thank you so much for watching this anime and letting me talk about it on this podcast. I've been dying to do this podcast for such a long time, and it's just I'm very grateful that you guys took the time. I know I had to make you like do a whole bed and everything, but I'm so happy. And Hotshot, you did watch it dubbed, right?
Yeah, I did watch dub.
Okay. Because I watched it dubbed at first, and then I watched the subbed version. And the subbed, to me, I know you're a guy who doesn't like the dubs, right? You don't like subs.
I don't like subs, no. Just because I like actually giving the visuals in the story all the attention that I can.
Right. No, totally a fair point. I found the voice acting to be better on the subs, the original. Did you enjoy the voice acting on this anime, or did you feel it was just like any other, or anything stand out to you over that?
I mean, nothing really stand out except for probably the only thing that really stood out was the entire time Nine's attitude, just like being analytical and calm and collected, and then just completely breaking down when he sees 12 shot dead on the ground. That's probably the only thing that stood out.
I was thinking the same thing, and that vocal performance was so well that, fun fact, that was the same voice used in the subbed version. The subbed and dubbed version both use the same like cry.
Damn.
Yeah, I know. I heard that. I was like, "What? Are you serious?" So a big thank you to you guys for watching this anime. To complete my final thoughts here, I just found this. I know the topic, obviously, of terrorism is very sensitive to a lot of people, and when I say that I enjoy this anime, I really need to say this. I said this on multiple other occasions on the podcast or other people. Just because you enjoy this anime doesn't mean you support terrorism. Doesn't mean you want more terrorist attacks. I don't feel like this anime promoted terrorism, but really terrorism was a vessel to the storyline, and they built a beautiful storyline within that vessel. And that's what that's how this anime wins to me. It's the psychological thriller. It's the action. It's the police trying to catch the Sphinx. It's Sphinx throwing up another riddle. It's the cat and mouse of it all that really works well together. And then you combine it with the great animation. Like, with these characters actually look Japanese. These anime characters look Japanese. It's actually well made like that. The scenery is absolutely gorgeous. The sound design is so realistic and just a great touch there. The music, I mean, we've went over this. The music is fantastic, and just put together into one final product that's consecutively of 11 episodes, and it goes by so fast. To me, there was no dull moments. Like, there were short arcs. Obviously, the school, the bombing, the airport, 12 betraying 9. Like, it really moves quickly, and there's always something happening in every episode. So put together an amazing anime, and thank you so much for listening to this episode of Anime Podcasters. I am now going to let Hotshot plug whatever he wants. Go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
All right, guys. So if you like my relatively nerdy voice, you can go ahead and find me on my channel on Hotshot Ginger. I promise there will be something uploaded at some point. You can also find me over on Twitter under Caution Ginger. And you can find me right here on Jaden's channel, where I spend most of my time because he keeps me prisoner. That's it. That's all I got. I have nothing else.
Yes, I do keep you prisoner.
Because every podcast I earn one burger. Why do you think I do this all the time?
I want to give a big shout out to GoPro Keo as well. He does all the artwork for Anime Podcasters, so go check him out. Go follow him on Twitter at GoPro Keo. I say at the beginning of every episode, the guy's amazing. He's available for commission. He works freelance, so go check him out and go give him a follow and hit him up in the DMs for some great artwork for your projects. Super affordable rates. For myself, I have relaunched JaianMusic.com, so if you need any audio services, mixing, mastering, editing, sound design, anything like of the sorts, composition, hit me up. I have some affordable rates as well. So if you need anything, it would be a pleasure to work on your project for you and be your sound guy. And you can obviously subscribe to the podcast on SoundCloud.com/JaianMusic or YouTube.com/JaianMusic. You can also follow the podcast on iTunes and Google Play. So make sure to subscribe there so you don't miss a single episode and you get it in your podcast feed. And for myself, my Twitter is at JaianMusic, Facebook.com/JaianMusic for my page. And that's going to be it for the podcast. So thank you so much for listening, you guys. And I think we've covered everything. Am I missing anything, Hotshot?
Not anything I can think of.
I would hate to just stop recording and then I'll forget. I was like, oh, that was the one thing I wanted to mention.
I think we're.
Oh yes,
you do have one more.
I just remember. Yeah, I have one more thing. I'm doing an independent study. It's called Chip Machine is the Facebook page, and I'm trying to get a lot of traction there. It's for the marketing part of my independent study. So if you have a moment, go check out Facebook.com/chipmachine if you like chiptune music. I mean, even if you don't like chiptune music, I'll take you. So just go check that out. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of Anime Podcasters. This is the second episode of Zankyou no Terror podcasting. I did one with Keo, so go check that one out as well. And we will see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Peace.